We're back at it again, huh? In a game as detailed and well made as Minecraft, there are bound to be tons of hidden features and Easter eggs you've never heard of. So today, let's put your Minecraft knowledge to the test. These are 32 secret Minecraft things you didn't know existed. And as always, really quickly, if you do enjoy the video, then please subscribe. We're getting so close to 1 million subscribers, and if you could even consider subscribing, it would really help out a ton. Social Blade says I'm supposed to hit 1 million subscribers around November, but let's prove them wrong and hit it even earlier. It does mean a lot to me, and I greatly appreciate it. And of course, let me know in the comments how many you knew out of 32. I'm sure it's not gonna be that many. But with that said, let's get right into it, and I hope you enjoy. Number 1. The beacon is one of those blocks that seems like it's been around forever with no major change to its texture. However, it has a hidden Easter egg inside of it that barely anyone knows about. If you head back almost 10 years to specific snapshot 12W36A, for 1 week there was a beacon texture that was ultimately scrapped but featured a hidden block. A yellow textured end crystal was literally placed inside the beacon. If you removed the floor, you could see the bedrock base sticking out. This weird texture was promptly removed but lives on in our hearts as one of the coolest and strangest Easter eggs. Number 2. You may think there's no way a secret sound exists in Minecraft, but you'd be wrong. If you scour through the game files of the 20W14 Infinite update, you can actually find a secret folder called Nothing to See Here, Move Along. Inside are 2 hidden sound files, bananana.ogg and bananana.ogg. You can also access these sounds in-game by using the command /playSoundAwesomeIntro, which sounds like this. If you can't tell, this is the noise made by the Mojang loading screen of the update. Pretty neat hidden feature if you ask me. Number 3. Writing in books and quills can get relatively dull pretty fast. However, if you want to spice up your text, you can use a hidden mechanic called formatting codes. If you use this special character and copy-paste it before your text, you can customize not only color, but the format, and make your writing italicized, bold, and all sorts of stuff. Link in the description will be a key with all the different ways to customize your text. I definitely recommend trying this trick out as it will surely spice up your Minecraft world. Number 4. There have been plenty of mobs that haven't been let into Minecraft. The ones from the mob votes are prime examples of this. However, there are actually some removed mobs that were added as a joke, and let's be honest, Mojang just wants you to forget about them. These secret joke mobs include a pink wither that can be summoned by placing a potted plant on a pink wool and grown using sugar, a diamond chicken that laid lapis and diamonds instead of eggs, a nerd creeper, a redstone bug, and a love golem. While these mobs certainly had no place in the game, their hilarious legacy definitely lives on. Number 5. Piglins are infamous for heavily protecting the bastions and the loot they contain. If you break any sort of container next to these guys, it's not gonna end well. However, if for whatever reason you want to get the loot but can't afford to take any damage, try this weird and wacky trick out. If you place a hopper below the chest with the loot and feed it into a minecart chest, you can then push the minecart out of range of the piglins, essentially committing a heist right under their noses. This also works with only a hopper, but it's much cooler this way. Whether this is actually worth the effort is up for debate, but it's certainly a fun way to swindle these little guys. Number 6. However, if you're looking for some mobs that you can't bamboozle as easily, try these on for size. While most mobs lose their anger when you escape their line of sight, spiders, cave spiders, slimes, silverfish, and illusioners actually have the ability to see you through walls. You can even get clever and use this feature to make a hidden detection mechanism for when you come nearby. Just don't get too close. Number 7. Hidden texture files are gonna be one of those things that will always be around in the game. You've got Jeb's name in the Guardian texture, Zephobia's name in the Zombie Pigman texture, but one more surprising Easter egg I bet you didn't know. In the texture files of the Witch, Evoker, Illusioner, and Vindicator, there's a hidden hat texture. This hat is found in none of the models, however, if you turn it on, it would look something like this. Why does it exist? Well, I'll let you figure that one out. Number 8. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Even a game like Minecraft is bound to have a bunch of weird, annoying little quirks, and this is just one of them. If you don't want your illusion shattered, look away now. If you go into F5 mode and pan your camera down to view yourself from the waist, you'll actually find the player's torso is offset by a pixel from the legs. It's so close yet so far. Sadly, this will never be fixed as it is an intentional feature meant to prevent something called Z-fighting, but it still hurts me internally just as much. Number 9. Something really useful that you probably didn't know is that TNT lit by a flame bow retains the ownership of whoever shot it. Now this may not seem that useful at first, but picture this. If you hold a sword or item with looting in the offhand and shoot a block of TNT with a flame bow in the other, every entity killed by that TNT will be affected by the looting and grant you a ton of drops very fast. You can also use this with skeletons and lava to get a multitude of discs extremely quickly. Number 10. Hoglins are a very strange mob, and no, I don't just mean their extremely weird damage glitch from a couple of months ago. No, something you may not have known is the surprising amount of blocks that Hoglins are scared of. 3. Which is way more than any other mob. Hoglins are repelled by not only fungus, but also by nether portals and respawn anchors. Why this is a mystery, and I think it's a very strange interaction. Let me know what you think it is in the comments. Number 11. It's no mystery that you can use bone meal on grass to make a bunch of, well, grass. However, something much less known is that if you travel to a warm ocean biome and head to the seabed, you can actually bone meal the sand there as well. Doing so will create coral and coral fans and a lot of sea grass. A neat interaction you probably never knew existed, and a good way to get coral if you can't find a reef. Number 12. The current repeater crafting recipe seems arbitrary at first, but actually is a reference to something you probably didn't know about. If you go back many years before the repeater was added, pulses used to be extended by inverting 2 redstone torches as such. Thus, when the repeater was eventually added, it was designed to mimic this little system. A fun piece of redstone trivia you probably didn't know. Number 13. The Ender Dragon is a mob that is exempt from many of the normal rules that creatures in-game have to follow. For one thing, not only can the dragon not be named Dinnerbone, it can't be named at all. For whatever reason, name tags have no effect on Gene. Similarly, it's one of the only mobs in the game, if not the only mob, that can't be spectated in spectator mode. You probably know that in game mode 3, if you right click on most mobs, you can enter their POV. However, this is not the case for the dragon, it just doesn't follow the rules. Number 14. Another thing you probably didn't know about the dragon is that it has some of the best resistance in the game. Not only does the void not damage it in the slightest, it also has some sort of immunity to the wither effect. This, coupled with the fact that redstone blocks power its head, really gets you thinking, is this dragon really alive? Number 15. Enchanting is one of those things that can either be insanely rewarding if you get protection 4 on the first roll, or just devastating if you can't stop getting Bane of Arthropods. But if you've ever wondered how lucky or unlucky you're getting, well, here's the answer. Each tool and material in Minecraft has a hidden value called enchantability. This value gives it a higher chance of rolling a better enchantment from the enchanting table. The process is actually very complicated, but I'll briefly rank the items in terms of best and worst for enchanting. Surprisingly, gold tools and armor actually have the highest enchantability by a mile. In this context, it means that while it's mathematically impossible to roll sharpness 5 for a diamond sword, rolling it on a gold sword isn't that unlikely. Following golden materials are netherite and wood tools, which is a very funny mix, leather armor, iron tools, and all the way down to the hardest and worst enchantability score, which is for non-material goods like bows, tridents, and fishing rods. Good luck enchanting these. Number 16. The next feature is a secret simply because it's so hard to spot. Like, it's hiding in plain sight, but I bet you never would have noticed it if I hadn't pointed it out. Take a look at the honey bottle and the water bottle. Notice anything different? But while the water bottle and all subsequent potions have an empty space made up of an upside down T, the honey bottle is just slightly more full, 4 pixels more full to be exact. This actually wasn't a mistake and was fully intentional, but I don't think we'll ever really know why. Number 17. Okay, this one is more of a life hack than a secret feature, but I still thought I'd mention it because I'm certain that it could come in handy one day. If you're trying to pearl across, let's say, an ocean of lava in the nether, or some giant obstacle and you don't really know if you'll make it, throw a snowball instead. Since snowballs follow the same trajectory as pearls, you can use this mechanic to predict where the ender pearl will land and if you can make the gap yourself. This has frankly saved my life once, which is one more time than 0. Number 18. We already had one fact about beacons, why not make it one more? You are probably aware that beacon beams can pass through pretty much every transparent block, as illegal as it may look, but nothing looks quite as weird as this interaction. A beacon beam passing straight through bedrock. At first, this seems completely random and ludicrous. I mean, why would this be a thing? But it actually makes a ton of sense when you consider that this was added so beacons could be used in the nether. Now that's a strange feature with a very wholesome explanation. Number 19. Speaking of beacons, this is probably a trivia fact you never thought about, but now that I mention it, it may just make sense. If you head over to the end ships and take a look at the mast, you'll notice a strangely placed piece of glass instead of purple. While at first this odd design choice seems to have no real meaning, it was actually put there since the original purpose of the end ship was to give a player a beacon instead of an elytra. The hole in the mast would allow the beacon beam to shine through, and that's why it was placed there. However, when the loot was swapped for an elytra, the hole remained as tribute to what could have been. Number 20. Lightning is a very overlooked phenomenon that has extremely odd effect on in-game mobs. You probably know the basic ones, but do you know how far the rabbit hole goes? When lightning strikes a horse, it spawns a skeleton trap. When it strikes a pig, it turns it into a zombified piglin. When it strikes a villager, it turns it into a witch, a mushroom turns into a brown mushroom, and a turtle turns into... wait, what? Yeah, a turtle. When killed by lightning, a turtle drops a bowl, something you can't get from it otherwise. I don't know if it's supposed to be its shell, and this is probably the game's strangest mechanic, but hey, now you know. Number 21. The witch is one of those mobs that's often overlooked but actually has a lot of weird Easter eggs you've probably never heard of. For one thing, it has a mouth. During the potion drinking animation, while its nose is moving around, you can actually see that the witch has a physical mouth on its texture. Not only that, the reason a witch drops a stick is a joke feature inspired by a Monty Python movie where the witches are said to be made out of wood, hence the wooden stick. Number 22. There used to be a mechanic in the game that breaking glass with a Silk Touch book would drop the glass block, although sadly that's no longer the case. However, there is still one situation where this illegal looking interaction takes place. Tinted glass. Mining tinted glass with your hands actually drops the block instead of just shattering the glass. Similarly, breaking any precious block like a shulker box, beacon, or conduit by hand results in the actual block being dropped. Granted, it does take a while, but it's a neat trick you can use to scare and then impress your friends. Number 23. Does the name Christopher Zetterstrand ring a bell? No? Well, what about his artwork? This Swedish artist is the unknown inspiration for many of Minecraft's paintings. For instance, his piece Wanderer is the real-life equivalent of this painting right here, and there are many more where that came from. He's a very talented artist, and I'm glad some of his work was also immortalized in Minecraft. Now that's a cool trivia fact you can share with your friends. Number 24. The Wither and the Void. Two things that don't really sound like they mix, right? Well, even so, if you combine the two, you're greeted with a very strange and inexplicable phenomenon. When the Wither takes damage from the Void, it frantically attempts to fire blue skulls. Not regular Wither skulls, but blue Wither skulls. That being said, since it's in the Void, they disappear almost instantly. No one really knows why this is, but hey, now you know it exists. Number 25. End crystals and bedrock. Notice anything strange about the textures? Well, you should. They're different. In the texture update, bedrock changed its texture to the modern one we know today. However, the bedrock portion of the end crystal didn't change, a relic of the past that highlights the texture from a couple of years ago. Number 26. Rails will hover over the block they are on. That's the whole fact. Why are they floating? Nobody knows. Number 27. Alright, it's time for some music Easter eggs and anomalies. Starting off with this one. Instead of a normal soundtrack, the music of the end dimension is a distorted, glitchy version of the regular overworld tracks, an eerie melody that greatly adds to the atmosphere. Number 28. The warped forest is the only biome in the entire game that's meant to have no music. Why? Well, maybe there's more to this biome than meets the eye. Number 29. The first 3 tracks of Minecraft Volume Alpha are actually meant to be played together as one full song. They were separated for the purpose of the game, but they were actually originally made to be played as one. Number 30. Last but not least in the music department, Chrysopia. This is the name of the Crimson Forest soundtrack. In real life, it relates to the production of gold in alchemy or chemistry, further tying the nether to gold and brewing, 2 of its most prominent elements. Number 31. You probably know that crafting recipes are unlocked by having the items required to craft the block of choice. However, there is one exception: chests. To unlock the crafting recipe of a chest, you don't need wood planks, you actually just need to have enough inventory slots occupied by any random item, and it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Number 32. Last but not least, Vexes. These guys suck. I hate them and you should too. So what better way to end off the video than by ending their lives with this secret mechanic. If you summon a Vex with an Elytra, it will just slowly sink into the void. Because they phase through solid blocks, you can send all of them to their doom and they can do nothing about it. A funny interaction that is definitely very pleasing. But wait. Please stick around for just a second longer because there's one thing I want to mention before the video ends. If you were sent here by the pinned comment or you watched through the whole thing, thank you by the way, there's one quick note I want to make before we leave off. Thanks to a bunch of different lame factors like school and more school, I'm going to temporarily suspend the upload schedule of every Monday. This does not at all mean that I'll stop uploading. It's still my favorite thing in the world to do, it's just that videos will be a bit more spread out and not always on a Monday. But they will be higher quality, so that's a plus. Also, shameless promotion, but do consider subscribing to my second channel, Wifies, as I want to start posting there a bit more, but we'll see how that one turns out. First link in the description if you're interested. I thought I'd say this here since these videos tend to attract the largest audience, but with all of that said, until we meet again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please consider subscribing. And as always, peace out, have a good one, I'll see you next time.